All right, everyone, welcome back. Anaheim. That's the team we got to talk about next. Not because they clinched, but because they stink. Sorry. But, I mean, 11-game losing streak is definitely rough, especially at this end of the season, and I did want to talk about them. We will be talking about them pretty soon when we do our 2023 reviews for all the teams, but I did want to touch base on this 11-game losing streak that they're having right now. It's been painful. It's been very painful to watch. I watched the game yesterday against Colorado, and they were up 4-2 in that game. And the way I just watched them blow, and I'm like, man, they really went for Connor Bedard in this game. It really felt like it. But anyways, the Ducks, 79 games played, or I guess 80 games played now. 23, 45, and 12 for 58 points. They have scored 204 goals, and they have let in 330, and they are 30th in the NHL. Now, 11 straight losses definitely helps you in the march to the Bedard race, but those two overtime loss points kind of screwed them over when it comes to standings. So we'll go game by game before we go into some player stats. So game one, they play Vancouver, they lose 2-1, and a lot of these games, I will say they're close, but you feel like, man, is it because are they actually trying to tank for Bedard, or are they really just this bad? Like that's just a weird thing with me. So Vancouver, they lose 2-1 game one. They play Calgary, they get pummeled 5-1. They play Winnipeg, they lose 3-2. They play St. Louis, they lose 6-3. So that's four straight losses right there, where you basically can't score more than 2 goals. That stinks. Then you play Colorado, you lose 5-1. They play Colorado a few times. You play Seattle, you lose 4-1. You play Edmonton, you lose 6-0. Then you play Calgary again, you lose 5-4. And some of these games are close, some of them are blowouts, but most of them, like, you see they can't score. They can't freaking score to save their life during this losing streak. They play Edmonton again, they lose 3-1. They play the Arizona Coyotes, they lose 5-4 in overtime. That was a game I thought they would win because the Coyotes, on the contrary, have lost 9 straight as well as Anaheim. So I was really thinking, like, oh, I could be making a 10-game losing streak video in Arizona and not Anaheim, and then Anaheim lost. I'm like, great. Then they played Colorado, where, again, they were up 4-2, and then they lost 5-4 in overtime. That game, to me, like, watching that, like, that game was entertaining, too. That was a fun game to watch. And you thought that, you seeing Colorado, a team that's, won the Stanley Cup last year, and playing up against a team that's at the bottom of the standings, you thought it'd be, oh yeah, boring game, Colorado would dominate. No. Anaheim played well. At points, I thought they deserved that game, and then they didn't. And then they just lost. It's like the thing with Anaheim, like the games they just slip away. And that's the unfortunate thing, honestly, when it comes to watching the Anaheim Ducks play this season. As it goes for some of their goal scorers, and I guess we'll start off with this, actually. To end off the season, they play Vancouver and the Los Angeles Kings. So they very well could lose out. Vancouver playing all right down the stretch, playing good when they're not supposed to be. And then Los Angeles, of course, is a playoff team. They are pretty solid. So, yeah, they could lose 13 straight to end off the year. And that blows. That for sure blows. So, yeah, that definitely stinks. But anyways, you look at the leading goal scorers, and this is a big role in why, like, they just struggle to score. They have 20 goal scorers, but it just feels like they just can't. They just can't score at all. Like, you count these losses. Only 4 of those 11 losses have you scored more than 3 goals. That sucks. Like, and in those games where they aren't scoring more than 3 goals, you're scoring 1 or no goals. Like that, you can't win like that. You just can't. So definitely, coming into the offseason, we're definitely going to need to take a look at maybe improving scoring-wise. You got Trevor Zegras, 78 games played, 22 goals, 39 assists, 61 points. There was a play last night when they were playing the Avalanche where, like, Zegras just had 2 straight between the legs passes. He's still got it. He's an unbelievable player, unbelievable deker. I would love to see a good team around him to see what he can do, but I would imagine if he's putting up 61 points in his sophomore season against a team like on a team like this, I'm definitely liking his odds heading into the playoffs. We could see a few 100-point seasons out of him 100%. Troy Terry up next. He has not been the Troy Terry that we saw last year, which is expected. But when you look at a team that, like, they were expected to be in the playoffs, they were expected to be at least competitive with some of the players that they acquired, you haven't seen that. Terry this season, 67 games played, so he's missed a little bit. 22 goals, 35 assists for 57 points. So he's right along the lines there with Zegras, probably going to finish out in the 60-point mark. That isn't bad for a player like him, but him, Terry, and Zegras, they're going to get paid. They are going to get absolutely paid. Same with McTavish as well, who was third in scoring. And as for a rookie, is doing a pretty good job. 78 games played, 16 goals, 26 assists for 42 points. Another really solid player this season. I'm liking how he's played so far with Anaheim. 100% been hyped up to be a good rookie. If Anaheim was a better team, he would have better stats. I think I had him in my Calder Trophy runners. I don't know if he'll make it, but hey, we'll see. There's some very interesting rookies that I would like to talk about. But fourth in scoring is Frank Vatrano. Vatrano this season, 78 games played, 20 goals, 19 assists for 39 points. He was an acquisition in the offseason from the New York Rangers. Obviously has not been very good, or he hasn't been bad by any means, but on a team like, they were supposed to be competitive this year, as I've said multiple times. He needed to be better. And then you got Ryan Strome, who, yikes. He came from, New York, looking to be like a second-line center with his team. And, those were the 2 players that I thought, oh, yeah. And that was really the only thing that I thought was going to bring them up to competitive. Them and acquiring John Klingberg, I thought this team would be at least 5th or 6th, or 5th or 4th in that division. Because I really didn't see Seattle taking the step that they did. But, no. They're last in the league, and that really sucks. Strome this season, 79 games played, 15 goals, 24 assists for 39 points. Definitely expecting a better season out of him next year. I'm liking Anaheim next year. Just this year, it just wasn't in the cards for him, honestly. Cam Fowler up next on that blue line. Fowler this season, 79 games played, 10 goals, 35 assists for 45 points. Of course, he set the record for the most minutes played in a regular season game this year, which I thought was impressive. And that goes to show that he has been hogging a lot of minutes on that blue line, especially with guys like Jamie Drysdale having been injured. Definitely does not help. But yeah, I do expect, other guys to come up to the lineup like Pavel Mintyukov. I expect him to come up into the lineup next season. And, hopefully Drysdale next year is fully healthy. And yeah, hopefully Cam Fowler and guys like, Kevin Shattenkirk as well. I almost said Josh Manson, but hopefully those guys won't be hogging up the D minutes, and maybe you'll get some more younger guys in there to help improve it. But yeah, this year was definitely like a setback for Anaheim, but Bedard's looking nice, I guess. Kevin Shattenkirk, somebody who I really thought would get moved at the deadline, but he wasn't. Shattenkirk this season, 72 games played, 4 goals, 21 assists for 25 points. The only reason I really thought he would get moved, in my opinion, was mainly because of just the shallow defensive market, honestly. Like, really, I didn't see him getting moved for any reason apart from that, but obviously he didn't get moved. He's there to stay in Anaheim. We'll see, though, if he stays past this season. I'm not sure if he's expiring. I believe he is, but we'll see. As it goes for your goaltenders, yikes. This has been a down year for a lot of these goalies. You got John Gibson, 52 games played, 14, 30, and 8, with a 3.99 goals against average and a .899 save percentage. So that's almost 4 goals a lot on average. That is not good, especially for someone like John Gibson, who, playing for a team like Anaheim for so many years, he still had pretty remarkable stats. Having a season like this really makes you kind of scared for whether or not he'll stay in Anaheim and whether or not he'll keep up, the solid numbers. And maybe you could have a whole nother problem there, but we'll see. Next up, Anthony Stolarz, 19 games played, 5-6-0 record, a 3.73 goals against average, and a .899 save percentage. Obviously, there, Anthony Stolarz. I've obviously always liked him since his days with the Philadelphia Flyers. But yeah, we'll see how Stolarz does, but in the coming seasons. But really, this season was not a good one because he's the backup. He looked solid last season, but this year it just hasn't been all that. Then he got Lucas Dostal, who of all these three goalies has been pretty positive. 17 games played, 4-9-2, a 3.77 goals against average, and a .901 save percentage. So another really solid goalie there in Anaheim. I do like him more than I like Gibson and Stolarz. Him and Ole Eriksson Ek. Eriksson Ek obviously also made his debut a few days ago against the Coyotes. But yeah, I do like Dostal, and I think he will. I think he very well could be the permanent backup next season if Stolarz decides to move on. And the last thing I want to talk about here in this video is overall pretty much the Bedard race, or the race for last place. You got Chicago with 56 points. They have Minnesota, Philadelphia, and Detroit left on their schedule, I believe. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia on their schedule. I thought I wrote down Philadelphia twice, and that's why I was like, what the heck? But yeah, they got Minnesota, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia left on their schedule before the season's over. So they very well could go 0-3. We'll see there, and they kind of really want to. Honestly, them and Columbus. Columbus, 56 points as well. They play Philadelphia. I'll be at that game. Pittsburgh and Buffalo, so they very well could also go 0-3. Really, honestly, what these two teams are preying on, and what Anaheim's preying on here too, is that one of these teams wins a game. Like, all it takes is one game or just an overtime loss for one of these teams to go ahead in the race. Because if you're last in that in the NHL, you are guaranteed a top 3 pick. So definitely, they're definitely looking forward to it. But they need to lose. In Anaheim, it's not looking so good for them to get first overall. They're going to have to make a big jump from third last in the NHL. Obviously, as I said, they have 58 points. They have Vancouver and Los Angeles left on their schedule before their season comes to an end. So they very well could go 0-2 before the year comes to a close. But yeah, those overtime loss points could hurt them when it comes to Connor Bedard. But hey, this draft is very stacked, and there are a lot of things to look forward to when it comes to the Anaheim Ducks 100%. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching. We will be back very soon talking about Anaheim and our 2023 reviews. I would say probably another week or two, and then we'll be back here talking about the Ducks. So yeah, we'll be back pretty soon. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Next up will probably be a Tampa Bay Lightning clinched video. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.